This is Marvel's Spider-Man. We're doing a comparison. On the left we have PC, on the right we have PlayStation 5. So these videos are a ton of work to put together, so be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. You're going to see a variety of different scenes from throughout the open world, swinging around, standing in certain places, running across different places, just to show you a variety of the different areas of this open world area that you're able to enjoy and swing around in as Spider-Man. So for context, I have an RTX 2080 Ti with an i9-9900K. It has to do double work of recording and also playing the game, so keep in mind that it is trying to push things as best as it can. If you do notice some frame rate things here or there, but I think it looks fine enough because we're mostly here to showcase the visual comparison. So on the left with the PC version, I have the very high settings on with DLS, and basically the setting that aims to give 60 FPS while dynamically adjusting the visual experience of the game. That way we're still getting somewhat of a fluid experience, but also seeing really what the PC side of things can do with the best technology currently available, because, you know, obviously we have DLSS as a way to help us make sure that we get that visual fidelity and not lose our frame rate, and I think the results are spectacular here for the most part, or well, just in general. So for these particular scenes, you will see some differences as I try to pick some different spots. Some of these are freeze frames, some of them are just in motion, so you can see how the traffic density and the distance and the quality of the environment kind of looks. So for the PlayStation 5, I chose the performance mode because I wanted something that was 60 FPS targeting. So it is a dynamic 4K with 60 FPS as a target, because I thought that was fair. Both of the regular modes I'm showing don't have, you know, any sort of like ray tracing applied, but we will be showing off some freeze frames, as you'll see in a sec here, that do show off the differences in the ray tracing options that are present within the games. So for the PS5, when it comes to the ray tracing capabilities, it is a dynamic, I believe 1440p 60 FPS with the ray tracing. When it comes to the PC side of things, I use like the high ray tracing setting with Geo 10, and basically that is as good as I could get with my PC. I tried to do the very high ray tracing settings. It was just too much and it turned it into a slideshow. So I think you could still see the effect here that obviously the ray tracing impact on the PC side of things is just far more complex and advanced than what the PlayStation 5 can do, which is kind of expected. And I would imagine if you're getting there with those higher tier cards, you're going to be able to see it to a higher degree. But at the same time, I think this game, if you really want to push the ray tracing and do the open world and stuff, I don't know if we really have the technology right now to fully realize that, if that makes sense. But anyways, you get to visit just a range of unique locations. Both of my setups are during the day. There's also sunset that can happen and nighttime as well, but the time of day is fixated based on what you choose when you get to that certain part of the game. You can kind of adjust that from these stations, or it's set to particular missions take place at different times of the day for cinematic and dramatic effect. But I tried to provide a variety of scenes so that you can kind of see, hey, a little bit of motion, sometimes really sit there and kind of look at the fine-tuned details of the character. That was that first close-up shot where you were seeing Spider-Man kind of being presented, so you could see the details of the costume. Obviously, the higher settings on PC are offering a increased level of fidelity and quality within the world that, you know, the PlayStation 5 looks great. The remastered version does look fantastic. I think it's excellent. But PC can take you just a little bit further. I noticed that a lot in terms of like the buildings, a little bit of like draw distance, a little bit of the sharpness of buildings in the distance. I was seeing that a lot was basically just the quality of the world was a lot more sharp. And then you can fine tune these settings further, but I chose the default, you know, kind of high, very high level default setting, because I thought that was really kind of the best of what PC can do from those presets. I think it was just a good way to kind of push it and showcase, hey, this is what the PC platform kind of provides if you jump in there with that setting. You know, usually I would play at the high setting on PC to make sure that we are getting like a smoother you know, really, really good smooth offering, but it really maxing it out is kind of awesome to see as well from a visual perspective, just to really see what this game can do. I also think the costume and some of the environmental elements look really good, but I did notice, like, kind of in general, the game seems to have like really hard lighting or like shadowing on kind of, you know, things in the environment, like the people and stuff. It seems like there's a really hard like shadow cast sometimes, where it seems almost a little too sunny, which I didn't really notice the first time playing, but when I was sitting here on PC kind of working at it, I was like, oh, interesting. And then seeing it, you know, kind of being exhibited like that across both versions was kind of fascinating to see. But it is fun to play around with the different settings. I hope this presentation gives you an idea of just, you know, how this looks between the two versions. It's really neat to do this sort of thing. Again, this is a ton of work, so be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. And it is actually, I believe, my first PC type comparison to a console platform. I might do this more in the future, so obviously thoughts and stuff are great as well. But jump out there and get swinging, whether you're doing that on the PC side of things for the first time, or maybe even feeling inspired to jump back into the PlayStation version of the game, which is spectacular. In general, this game is rather amazing, and I highly suggest diving into it because it is such a great experience and just a blast. I mean, look here, you can really see the differences in the buildings in the backdrop. Just wanted to point that out, but there's going to be more running, more swinging, and a little bit more showcasing of just what this game can do.
Attention unit. Got a report of a mugging. Report came in from Tribeca.
All units, civilians are trapped in their vehicles following a severe accident. Incident is ongoing in the West Village.
Over here. There's no way you're really Spider-Man, right? Oh, got me there. Lights back. Move lights.
Don't mind me. How's it going?
Available units, need response to a break-in. Backup needed in the meatpacking district. Over.
Local units. Need a response to a robbery. Suspects are armed. Officers near Halifax, please copy.
All units, we've got an assault in progress. Mobilize on Monk Park.
Hey, watch it!
Hey! Watch it!
Hey! Oh, are you really him? Watch it!
Him! Sorry.
Sorry, I'm usually web swinging.
Hey!
Hey, you freaking mess.